Testing. Hello and welcome to APPF1 Tier 2 round number 3 of 10. We are here in Jeddah for the Human Rights Grand Prix. And this should be a pretty exciting one. We've got a very decent grid. This is probably the best Tier 2 grid in several seasons for this race. It's great to see the league getting slowly back to its best. But welcome in to everyone. Jonathan in the chat saying, will I finish today? Probably not, but most people won't. You're probably not wrong, Jonathan, but I believe in you. My main piece of advice is don't turn in too early for turn 3. It's really tempting, really tempting, but just take it a bit safely in terms of the turn in. Just if you go wide, whatever, you lose a bit of time, but if you turn in too early, you're out. So yeah, very scary corner. I crashed out of qualifying on Friday in Tier 1, and luckily didn't do it in the race or in Elite and Sunday, but I pretty much do that every single week that I race on this track. At some point, so yeah, just be careful there. But we've got Palang heading out on track, the current championship leader. Believe it or not, Palang is the championship leader in Tier 2, and he's doing a bloody good job, I'll tell you what. He's having a great start to the season, and fully deserves to be where he is. Turn 3, biggest enemy to humankind, says MCL in the chat. I agree, and good luck for your debut, MCL. It's good to see you've joined APP. Good to see that my commentary has gotten more people into my league. I hope you enjoy your first race, although Jeddah, maybe not the best first race to have first impressions on. But yeah, hope you have a good one on your debut. But let's see, there we go, my YouTube setup. Perfect, right. So as we see everyone go round on their outlaps, tough circuit this in Jeddah, very tough. It's Monaco but fast, because you've really got to nail every single corner because you lose so much time on the exits. There's so many high-speed corners on this circuit. Really easy to lose a ton of time on exits. especially, so you've got to be careful on that. Jonathan has already crashed, unfortunately. I'm not sure how he's managed that or where, but he's going to have to come into the pits and repair that damage. But RJ, coming around the final corner, is going to be the first one to set a lap in this qualifying session in the Mercedes. Here he goes down towards turn 1, DRS open all the way down. A lovely pink helmet there from RJ. Big fan of that. But down towards the first corner, brake at about the 100-meter board for quali, but a lot earlier than that in the race. Through turns 1 and 2, you've got to be so committed on the apex of turn 1. Now turn 3, the most dangerous corner on the circuit. So easy to get wrong, and RJ has done, but luckily hasn't invalidated there on the curb. And then through the next part of Sector 1, such a hard sector, and RJ struggling with the last part of it. Really, really easy to do that. But yeah, he's weaving as if to say, no, don't watch me, don't watch me. It's a bad lap. But through the long hairpin he goes. It's not really a hairpin, more like a long banked corner like Zandvoort. But through he goes to the next part of Sector 2. Again, very conservative through that section from RJ. Just trying to get his foot in with the lack of racing line that he's running in Tier 2. Down towards the final sector now. That was very nice through there, though, from RJ. Very committed. Much more so than the previous couple of corners. But through down towards the final corner he comes. And the only job left to do is not to brake too late and not to Max Verstappen it on the exit. And it looks like RJ's braked too late. He got very, very unlucky here in Tier 1 on Friday. Just got a bit wide and then sort of oversteered into someone, and it was just a disaster with a few laps to go. But at 29.3 is the opener. Palang does a 28.5, and that's the pace. The pace to beat, I suppose. Jack Halako not far behind, just a 10.5, but Muhiti beats them both. A 28.2 from the Ferrari driver from Belgium. It's RJ and Sumo half a second apart. But RJ some 6/10 behind Jack Halako, who's not that far behind Palang, but Muhiti, very strong opening lap there from the Ferrari driver. Alex G, who was our pole sitter in race 1 and won race 2 this season, he is only P6, so he'll want to do better than that. Mr. J-Man in the other Ferrari up to P3 in the meantime. Wong Fi down in P8, but obviously trying to get used to no line as well. Oh, well, not get used to it, he's done it before, but get more on pace with it, and I'm sure he'll get better as the season goes on. Lawrence, P9 on the medium tyres, he's done his first lap on. Robsu goes to P6 as JB in the McLaren has gone into P5. Scott, in the meantime, P9 for him. And Sumo will be happy with how close he is to Scott there. Aces versus Kings goes to pole position, though. A 28.0 from the Haas driver. Fantastic lap from him. Crozer goes to P3 as well. That's back to the Crozer we know. After his unfortunate DNF in Monza last week. Just lost it at Lesmo too, as we've seen so many do in APPF1 that week. MCL on an outlap, as well as Tier and Jonathan back on an outlap again with a new front wing. I don't want to ride on board with him because I don't want to curse him. I'll just keep an eye on his progress on the minimap. But Tier coming down towards the final corner to start his first lap of the session. As looks like Jonathan's coming through turn 2 now, fairly nicely from the AlphaTauri driver. Now the dangerous turn 3, very wide on the exit. But I did tell him to do that. It's easy to go wide on the exit, but it's worth it to not hit the wall on the inside. But he's lost the rear through the end of Sector 1, and he's turned off his ERS, and he's going to try and go again. I would have thought just get a lap in, to be honest, Jonathan. No matter how bad it is, just get something on the board so you can compare with it later. But Tier going through Sector 1 in the Red Bull. He's not shy to some great qualifying performances the last couple seasons, but he's gone wide at the end of Sector 1, and that is an invalidated lap to start off with. MCL on his debut in Tier 2. Reserved in Tier 1 on Friday. But this is his first race as a permanent driver in Tier 2. Through Turn 3 he goes. That looked pretty good from the Alpine driver as he goes through Sector 1. Of course, I know him from DLR Realistic Division, where he also drives an Alpine. So familiar territory for MCL in terms of the car choice. Through Sector 1, just a 32.0 there. I don't have any comparison. I really should remember to note down people's times through the first sector, the first few sectors in their first laps, so that I can compare as he gets right close to the wall on the exit there. Very, very close. Alex does much better with that one, up to P3 for the Aston Martin driver on worn tyres as well, so that's a real danger man as Alex goes wide on the exit there, and that's going to cost him quite a lot of time. He hasn't lifted off enough for the game to forgive him, but still going to be a few tenths lost as a result. Through the final hairpin goes MCL. Is he going to Verstappen it on the exit? No, he's not. He's absolutely fine. Down towards the start-finish line. What's it going to be for the Alpine driver's debut race? It's a 27.8. It's pole position for MCL to start off with, and that is a statement of intent if I've ever seen one. He was way off on Friday, but Tier 2, he's come and done the business in the Alpine. And, well, it's going to take some beating that lap. And that's only his first effort. 9.5 minutes to go in this session. Alex coming into the pits on this one. Jack Alaco, though, starting a new lap in the Williams, P8 on his first run, not bad at all. And in fact, he hasn't been too bad on this track all week, really, in APPF1. He races in all 3 divisions. So absolutely fair play to him. But round he comes, a bit of traffic, quite a lot of traffic in fact, as he goes past them. Just about manages to get back on the racing line in time, but that will have been distracting for the Scottish driver as he goes through the rest of Sector 2. And now down through this section, very committed on entry, a little less so on exit, but still not too bad at all from Jack Alaco. We'll see what his sector split is very shortly. It's 7 tenths up for Jack Alaco. This is a fantastic effort from him as he comes through the last sector now, just 1 corner to go for the Scotsman, hoping the Haas doesn't get in his way, and it doesn't. And down towards the final braking zone, brakes at the 100-meter border, or maybe even just after, as he goes on the exit. Very nicely done from him there as well. Down towards the line. This could be a fantastic lap from Jacko. It's a 27.9. It's P2, the front row for the Scotsman. He's going to be delighted with that one. Muhiti on a lap as well, though. He was 3 tenths up in Sector 2. Can he take pole? Yes, a 27.7 from the Turkish-Belgian driver. MCL back into the pits, but there's more people on laps, including the championship leader, Palang. He's half a tenth up in Sector 1, but he's going to need a lot more than that to challenge at the front. Scott has binned it in Sector 1, unfortunately, so he's not going to improve in this quali session. He did say he went into this with no practice, so I sympathise with him. Down towards Sector 3 goes Mr. J-Man, very squirrely on the exit there, but he was 1.5 tenths up in Sector 2, but he's had to lift off. That has cost him too much time, and he's going to have to go again. What about JBS Steve? Through Sector 1, he's not currently pushing either. What about Aces versus Kings? Has just started a lap. Jonathan and Wong Fei also on laps in the Alpha Tauris. Jonathan coming through Sector 1. Very squirrely on the exit, but just about surviving as he goes through. McLaren getting out of the way of the Alpha Tauri, thankfully. As he goes down towards Sector 2, this is so difficult to get right with no line, because they're all blind corners. He hits the wall there as he goes towards this little chicane, but he's traversed that pretty well, has Jonathan, and only 2 major corners to go. DRS open down towards the end of Sector 2. See if this is a lap that he can be happy with through the next section of the track. Very nicely executed from Jonathan there as well. Down towards the final corner, this is looking like a pretty good effort from the AlphaTauri driver. Wong Fei is invalidated. What about Sumo? He's not improving either. So we'll keep on board with Jonathan as he goes through the final corner. Lawrence has gone to P5 in the meantime in the other Williams. But here comes Jonathan to the line. There's a McLaren getting a slipstream off him just behind. He's got to be wary of that. It's P5 5 for Jonathan. Fantastic effort from the AlphaTauri driver as he gets out the way of the McLaren. But brilliant stuff from him with no line. He'll be very happy with that. You've got Crozer coming through sector 1 right now, trying to improve. Palang not improving, invalidated in fact. What about Mr. J-Man? Is he improving down towards the final sector now? He's gone for it again on the same set of tyres. Decided he didn't have time to come into the pits, but he's run out of ERS, and that could be the main issue for him, as there's just 2 long straights at the end of the circuit, and he's going to lose quite a lot of time having no ERS. Someone's Verstappened it by the look of that wing on the exit of the final corner. Here comes J-Man. Is it any improvement? Yes, it is, in fact, even with no ERS, up to P8 for him, but his teammate still remains on pole position. Robsu also on a lap, trying to improve. We've got Aces as well, who took sensational provisional pole earlier. Very laggy through sector 2. Hopefully that doesn't cause problems in the race. At DRS open down towards the final sector now. Is he improving at the sector split? We're about to find out. No, he's not. He's 3/10 down, in fact, is the British driver. So we'll move back to Robsu, who's coming to the end of sector 2. He's not improving either. What about Alex G, who's gone all the way down to 9th place after he did a lap that got him to P3 earlier on. What's it going to be? He's 7.5 tenths up, though, through sector 2. So this could be another pole position for Alex G, who's had a fantastic opening couple of races. France didn't quite go to plan on the opening day in the race after he got pole position, but Monza certainly did. And down towards the line comes the Aston Martin driver. He's going to get a bit of a tow on the Red Bull as well. It's going to be pole. No, it's not. It's 0.5 tenth down on Muhiti. He lost a lot of time in the final corner, and it's still the Ferrari driver on pole position for now by the skin of his teeth. What about Tier? He's coming through sector 1 now. He's pretty much the only car out on track that's on a lap. In fact, he is the only one as he comes through the first sector now. It's right on board with the British driver who was the runner-up last season in the standings, but he's invalidated again on the exit of the final corner of sector 1, and he's only got 3.5 minutes left to get a lap in. He's got to hurry up and get his way around the track, or else he's gonna start from last place in this race. Muhiti out on an outlap as well in the other Ferrari, looking to improve on his lap that's got him to pole position for now. But will he stay there is the question. Let's see. Just want to see how these laps compare to Tier 1. Oh yeah, wow, okay. So yeah, pole position right now in Tier 2 would have been 12th in Tier 1. So I think we've got the tiering pretty good. Pretty spot on, at least for Jeddah. But Muhiti coming down towards the final corner to start his final lap of the session. Tier's going again in the meantime in the Red Bull. Just trying to get something on the board, but going on worn tyres. Bit of a risk for the Red Bull driver. The extra sausage curb makes the S's feel so clunky. One of the best feeling tracks to drive, though, still. Yeah, it really does. Like this curb on the exit here, that train track, as JB put it earlier. Yeah, that's JBS Steve, not the JB you know, Louis. It's a real kick in the teeth for this circuit. It really makes it feel a lot less satisfying through the first sector. But it does keep you in check, I suppose. As Tier comes through sector 2 now. Pretty nicely done from the Red Bull driver there, but he just doesn't want to invalidate this one. He wants to get something on the board. He's invalidated all his previous efforts, through the final couple of corners, but he's tapped the wall. That's going to cost him a lot of time through there. He is going to be fuming with himself for doing that, because that's a very avoidable error. As he comes down towards the final corner now, we're going to keep riding on board with him to see where he ends up after this lap. I don't think it's going to be a satisfactory lap for him, but down towards the line he comes anyway. Can he beat Scott? That's probably going to be the aim for him. It's a 29.0. He does beat Scott, but it's only P13 for Tier, and his quali rating I think is going to suffer for that one. Muhiti not improving, so he's going to have to go again. 45 seconds, he should be able to get round in time. Jackalacco not improving in sector 1. What about Aces? Doesn't tell me, but Jacko coming to the end of sector 2, very, very committed through there by the looks of it. We've also got Wong Fei on a lap, half a second up in sector 2. Let's see if he can improve. Jonathan on an out lap right now in the other AlphaTauri. He's going to be one of the last people to set a lap at the end of this session, as there's only 17 seconds left. Through the final corner comes Wong Fei. Jackalacco's binned it on the exit of the first corner of sector 3. Wong Fei, 6.5 tenths improvement, but not enough to get him up from last place, unfortunately. Sumo improving by half a second in sector 2 in the meantime as well. He's improving so rapidly on that wheel as he tries to beat his teammate here to P14. We've got the two McLarens as well. Crozer has already finished his session. Someone's gone, that's Aces to P2 by 5 thousandths of a second. Alex has finished as well, so he will not be pole again, as Wong Fei has to get out of the way of the Alpine. I think he may have blocked him there. It could be a huge shame for MCL. If so, he's P4 right now. Muhiti not improving in the middle sector. What about Jonathan? He's not improving either. Lawrence is invalidated. Robsu is improving, but not through sector 2. And he's going to have to find a tiny bit more in these final couple of braking zones. Mr. J-Man also not improving in the middle sector. Everyone's struggling to improve. The championship leader is only P11. What about Tier? He's not improving either. RJ's got no front wing. Muhiti can't improve, so it's all down to Jonathan perhaps. No, he's invalidated. What can Robsu do across the line for the Alfa Romeo driver into the pits? Nothing for him. Mr. J-Man is the last one who can take pole position, but he's not going to. It's a slight improvement, but it's only P10. Look how close all of those times are, but it's Muhiti 11 on pole position by 5 thousandths of a second. Oof. Brilliant qualifying session there. Sumo, by the way, P13, right on the pace there in the Mercedes. He'll be quite happy with that, I think. RJ down in 15th, but Tier I think is the biggest shock of this one. P14 for him. Ace is all the way up in P2. That's a great effort from him. And MCL on his debut in Tier 2, P4, but I do wonder if he got blocked on that run at the end. We'll have to wait and see in the stewards room. Jonathan found 5 tenths in the first corner, but invalidated later on. Unlucky. That's a real shame, but what an effort. P6 for you. Great one. Wong Fei last as usual. MCL, he says, but I'm sure he'll be fine in the race. MCL did get blocked. I did think so. And I think Wong Fei might have a trip to the stewards room after this one. Unfortunately for him. But Muhiti on pole position by just 5 thousandths from Aces, who joins him on the front row. Alex down in P3 for this one. But we know that he's a danger to the race win regardless. MCL definitely a danger as well, especially since he got blocked on his last lap. P4 on his debut. Jackalacco and Jonathan on the third row, with Lawrence and Robsu making up the fourth row. These times are so close. JB and J-Man 9 and 10. J-Man 10th place, only half a second down on pole position. Palang P11, then Crozer, Sumo, Tier, RJ, Scott, who crashed out, and Wong Fei at the back of the grid. This is going to be a very exciting race, but it could also be absolute carnage. So we will see. Either way, it's going to be a great spectacle, I think. I hope so too, Jonathan. You deserve a good result. But yeah, just keep concentrated. You've got to keep your concentration all throughout the race. If you lose concentration for one corner, you're probably going to end up in the wall or on a curb. Oh no, JB has left the session. Can I get him back in? So here we go for the formation lap. It is Muhiti on pole position. Been a while since we've seen him on pole. I think that was JB's AI just streaking ahead of everyone else. Hopefully that doesn't cause issues. If it does, we may have to do a lobby reset. But let's have a look at tyres. So almost the whole grid on the mediums. With MCL, Robsu, Tia and Scott on the hards, and Wong Fei starting on the soft tyres at the back of the grid. So we will see how that pans out. JB's back in the session, but yeah, hopefully the only thing is hopefully he doesn't get the glitch where you're stuck in spectator cam when you take control. Fingers crossed, because that has now happened more than once, so it is definitely a repeatable bug, not just something that happened to me a couple of years ago. But Muhiti takes us round, looking for a first race win in Tier 2 since, oh gosh, it's been a while, I think. He had a podium last season, and the season before he didn't get a win. I think it's his first one since season 6. No, further back than that. It would be his first win since season 5, that season where he lost out on the championship by 2 points. But Ace is there in P2 as well, looking for a race win. Alex looking for his second race win on the bounce. Palang's championship lead now looking extremely vulnerable. He's down in P11, but often in Jeddah, it can all be about surviving to the checkered flag. That's certainly the case in Tier 1 on Friday. So here we go, as everyone gets their cars ready on the grid. We're about to get started. Wong Fei coming around the final corner. Sumo overshooting his grid box by a little bit, unfortunately. But here we go. We've got to ride on board with someone because this is a terrible view. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Red lights. And we're underway for the Human Rights Grand Prix. JB stuck on the line. He must have the spectator cam glitch as everyone piles towards turn one. It's the sandwich, and that's Muhiti round. Ace is into the lead of the race. MCL up to P2 on the hard tyres. Lawrence up to P3 in the meantime. We've got the position changes all over the grid. I've no idea what's going on. Sumo's right at the back. He's got no front wing already. Palang's at the back as well. Someone's gone off in the meantime. That's Robsu at turn 3. Jacalaco's round as well in the Williams. It's absolute carnage on this first lap. Aces into P1, MCL, P2, Lawrence and Alex side by side as they go through the next set of corners. As the Aston Martin's still right there with him, and we've got an early safety car in this race. Whoa. What a crazy start to this Grand Prix. And yeah, he'd had the same glitch that Mannyman did. Everyone under the safety car now. Sorry, just trying to sort out whether we reset the lobby for JB or not. We're heading into the pits. It was a bit of a disaster, to be fair, at the start. Alright, we're resetting the lobby. I've told everyone to retire. So hopefully they get the message. Hopefully everyone gets the message. Looks like most people are. Aces and Sumo, the last ones who haven't got the message. There we go. Just Aces. I don't blame him. He's winning. He's winning the race. Why would he retire? I don't blame him. There we go. Alright, quality results will stand. Huh. Interesting how it's given the points out. Looks like it actually does the real F1 rule, which I wasn't expecting from Codemasters, to be honest. Okay. So need to get rid of quali and then set custom grid. Right. I can get the quality results on my stream. There we go. Okay. So we've got Muhiti on pole. Then Aces, Alex, MCL. Jacko, Jonathan, Lawrence. Robsu, JB, Mr. J-Man. Palang, Croza, Sumo. Tier, RJ, Scott. And Wong Fee last. Let's see. Muhiti, Aces, Alex, MCL, Jacko, Jonathan, Lawrence, Robsu, JB, Mr. J-Man, Palang, Croza, Sumo, Tier, RJ, Scott, and Wong Fee. Okay. Should be fine. Just one last check that it's in the same order. It is. Okay. Muhiti needs to select car if he's listening, as do Lawrence and RJ. Muhiti, Lawrence, and RJ select car. Muhiti, come on. Muhiti. Hang on. Send him a message. Car in all caps. Oh, there we go, we got it. Okay. Alright. Just check the grid is still okay. Yep. Round 2 fight. Yeah. Exactly. Right, let's try again. Even my dog's watching. Ready for the action. She's watching the screen very intently. Alright. Here we go again. Formation lap is go. The tyre options are broadly the same, although with some differences here. We've got most of the grid on mediums once again. Alex and Scott have started on the hards. MCL has gone for mediums this time. Jonathan, J-Man, both on the softs as well. I think they were both on the hards last time as well. And Wong Fei has remained on the softs. But still most of the grid on mediums. Not many major changes in the tyre selection. Which is good. That's how it should be. But I never said they couldn't change if they wanted to. So Muhiti leads us around. I'm pretty sure I've done a helmet review of MCL in DLR, but let's see. Oh, it's just the special Ferrari one. Okay, well I can't really rate that. I mean. It's a nice helmet, but I can't really rate it because there's no creativity involved on MCL's part. I suppose I'll give it the same treatment I usually give, like when people use the Max Verstappen helmet, which is 1 out of 10. Better than a 0, but still, I can't really do anything with that. It is the same MCL, yeah, it is. He saw that I was streaming APP last week and asked if he could join. So here he is, and I'm really hoping he has a good, enjoyable debut here in Tier 2. Starting from the second row on his debut, as we all head down towards the grid for the second time tonight, hopefully the last time tonight, as Muhiti goes down to his grid slot now. From pole position, last time it was a very bad start for Muhiti, and he got spun round. And he's, well, overshot his grid box on the second time around to add insult to injury. So we'll see if he can get a bit of a better start this time, because he went right to the back of the grid at turn 1 on the first time around. Sumo also doing it again. He's overshot it twice in a row now. But here we go. Where's my HUD gone? Why has my HUD disappeared? Oh, God. Okay, well, we're off for the Human Rights Grand Prix. It's a great start from Muhiti at the front this time, and he leads the race through turn 1, and there's a Haas round further back. Jacalaco's out of the race straight away. Oh, no, disaster for the Scottish driver. I think he hit the spinning aces as he was going around. Is this going to bring my HUD back? No, it's not. And no, aces is round now in Sector 1, and there's Aston Martin. That was Alex, I think, nearby him. My frame rate's gone as well. Everything's gone wrong. I do not know how to fix this. Oh dear. Alex has gone round in the background there. At least I think that's Alex. I'm gonna have to just, oh god, I have to make the best of this. I have no idea who's who. Can I change anything? What can I do here? On-screen display, off, on. No, okay. Damn it. I don't know how to fix this, sorry guys. Jack's calling for a restart, unsurprisingly. But here's Jonathan in the AlphaTauri in P2. What a start he's had. Wait, is he in P2? No, he's not. He's in P4, but still a decent start for him. The Alfa Romeo of Robsu is in P3 right now. I've got to remember which cars everyone's in. Oh god, this is a nightmare. As there's a Haas round in the background. No, that's just Aces lagging into oblivion. Goodness me. As they go around Robsu P3, Jonathan into the pits straight away for a new front wing. I've no idea if he's retiring or not. No idea what's going on. I'm really sorry, guys. I don't know how on earth to fix this. I guess this is a new glitch I've never seen before. There's a McLaren up there as well. I'm not sure which one, but it looks like Mr. J-Man's made a great start as well, because he's in P... well, Muhiti's leading, and that's Aces. So Robsu P3, Mr. J-Man up to P4 off the start. So great start for him, and now he's putting the pressure on Robsu, who's made a mistake in Sector 1, and Aces goes down the inside of the Alfa Romeo and gets the move done. Fantastic move from him. Jack thinks we should restart for my on-screen display. I'd love to restart for you, Jack, but... yeah, I think one dubious restart decision is one too many, I think, for one night. But Mr. J-Man now up to P3. It's a double podium for Ferrari as it stands. As here comes the Alfa Romeo back at him, tries to go around the outside but can't quite do it as they head through Sector 2, now onto the final sector. Robsu getting back in the groove after that mistake in Sector 1. Here comes the Finnish driver going for P3 once again. Round the outside of the Ferrari towards the final corner, but he brakes early to try and get the switchback done on the exit. Decent one. A decent exit, but I don't think it's going to be good enough, or is it? Look at the slipstream. He's got no DRS yet. We're going on to lap 3, but Robsu round the outside again of Mr. J-Man, but he can't quite get it done into turn 1. Tries to get the switchback, but gets too much curb, and now is going to be vulnerable to the McLaren behind of either JB or Crozer. I'm not sure which one. There's also the Haas of Scott, who's gotten up into a high position. As down behind is the AlphaTauri of someone or other fighting with a Mercedes. I've no idea who's still in the session or not, and I've no idea who's who. I'm just guessing. There's another AlphaTauri. I think that's Jonathan. Yes, it is, from the helmet. Jonathan coming through Sector 1 now after he pitted earlier on. There's a Williams, not sure which one that is. The Alpine of MCL is all the way down the grid, must have pitted early on as well for damage. Not sure how he has sustained the damage, but that's really unfortunate for him. I'm not sure if this is Alex G in the Aston Martin. It could be Palang as well. I think that's Alex, but I can't quite remember. JB's left the session again, so he's going to have to get back in anyway. So, gosh. This is really hard. This is really hard without a HUD. But we've got the other Red Bull. I think that's Tia in the Red Bull there. Just going back one as well. Another Mercedes, Aston Martin, and another AlphaTauri. What's happening? Well, I'm not sure, but I know that Aces is putting pressure on Muhiti for the lead of the race. Looks to the inside, but disables the DRS as he goes towards turn one. What's also really annoying is there's a McLaren in the wall there. I'm not sure which one that is, but I would imagine it's JB if he's disconnected from the session. But Muhiti still leads this race from Aces versus Kings at the front of the field. No idea on any of the gaps. Okay, guys, I'm going to try and fix this. This is really, really hard. How can I fix this? Confirm changes. Does that help? Put it all off and then put it back on again. Cockpit view on, off. Simulation settings, that's not going to work. God, this must be a bug if you do 2 races in the same lobby as a spectator, which, okay, well, it's good to know for the future at least, but I don't think we've solved it because the frame rate issue is still there. What if I quit out and then come back in? Race director. No, okay, I can't fix this, so I'm just going to have to work with what I've got. Muhiti still leads the Grand Prix. Could change the opacity, I can try it. Is it in here? How do I change opacity? I'm not sure how to do that. Ah, like that, okay. Hidden no. Confirm. I've got a terrible frame rate as well. Okay, well, it's good to know for the future. So if we do a lobby reset, don't just do another race, because this will probably happen. So good to know. Sorry about this, everyone. I'm just going to have to do my best. I think I'll have to look at Race Director quite often just to see where everyone is. So right now, it's Muhiti leading the race from Aces versus Kings. Sumo fighting with Crozer for P6 at the moment. That was JB in the wall in Sector 1. Robsu's in P3, just defending from Mr. J-Man on the soft. Jonathan's pitted for the mediums. Wongfi's still on the softs, but he's DNF now from the race. And a lot of people who started on the mediums have pitted for hards, so there's a lot of damage in that first sector there. A lot of people sustaining damage, unfortunately. Alex all the way down in P15, and he's pitted again in the Aston Martin for a set of the hard to go back onto the hard tyres. It's been a pretty disastrous start to this Grand Prix for him. But Muhiti still leading from Aces versus Kings as we go back to the track. Aces' lag is really difficult to keep up with, but through we go. Down towards turn 1, DRS is enabled for the Haas driver, but can't make a move into turn 1, and I'm assuming he'll teleport. There we go, straight back into P3, and that's Robsu keeping P3 for now from Mr. J-Man. There's still a McLaren in the wall. I have no idea what's going on. I'm going to check the Discord and see. The lag putting him comically in the wall is great. It really is. It's not great for him, I'm sure, but it's funny. But, okay, down we go towards the next couple of corners. Robsu's still in P3 from Mr. J-Man. Ace is still following behind Muhiti for now. As we've got the Haas of Scott in P5 right now. Mercedes in P6 I don't know who that is. Sumo, it must be Sumo. Yeah, I recognize the helmet now. So Sumo in P6 at the moment, doing a fantastic job defending from Crozer in the McLaren. And then where's Jonathan? He's not too far behind them, actually, even after having stopped. So the grid is spread out an awful lot, but still a lot of battles to be had on the track at the moment. As the McLaren of Crows is right there. Kevin in Discord is asking me what's going on with the stream. That's a great question, Kevin. I wish I knew the answer. This is just what happened. I lost my HUD as soon as the race started, and I've never gotten it back again. I've tried everything. But through we go. JB's back in the session, but his car is, as far as I'm aware, still in the wall. I've no idea why. But round goes the McLaren of Crows around the outside of Sumo. He makes the move into the final corner. Jonathan's right there waiting for an opportunity in the meantime. It's funny that this is the first track he's done well on, and it's one of the hardest tracks on the calendar. But down the inside goes Sumo into turn one. Can't make the move. Locks up, in fact, as well, as they go through the first couple of corners and spins on the exit. Too much throttle for the Mercedes driver, but he's still pointing in the right direction at least, and has sustained no damage, thankfully for him. But the Alpine of MCL following the Williams of, let's find out, of Lawrence, who's in P9 right now. Aces has taken the lead in the meantime from Muhiti while we weren't watching at the front, but Muhiti's right behind him as they go down towards Sector 3 now. Sorry, no, that's Robsu and Mr. J-Man, but Aces is still lagging as Muhiti follows him through the final sector. Robsu still just ahead of the Ferrari of Mr. J-Man, but these two still battling for that final podium position at the moment. As we go through the final corner. JB's retired, unsurprisingly, and down towards turn one, Mr. J-Man lifts off. He doesn't want to make that move into the first corner. As through they go, through the first chicane. No moves being made. Let's check back at the front as Muhiti is struggling to stay with Aces at the moment. Aces really putting on the pace on this track, really seems to enjoy Jeddah at the moment, as there's more lag going on there. I hope that wasn't a distraction to Muhiti, but it probably was, I would imagine. Robsu's still in P3. God, this is so difficult to commentate. Really, really hard. I'm trying my best though. Scott still going strong in P5. No one anywhere near him at the moment. Jonathan, meanwhile, has gotten past Crozer, so he's up to P6 after having pitted. So he's doing a fantastic job in that AlphaTauri right now. I've no idea what lap we're on. Can I find out from someone's steering wheel? Is that something I can do? Possibly. I think I'm walked up to my TV screen trying to see what number that is. I think this is lap 8 of 26, I think. There's 26 laps, 25 laps, it might be 25. So not quite halfway through the race yet as Jonathan hits the wall on the entry to the final corner of Sector 2, or the first corner of Sector 3, rather. And now that could give an opportunity for the McLaren of Crozer into the final corner, 25. Thank you, Louis. As they go down towards it, Palang has retired. The championship leader is out of the race, but where? I have no idea where or why, but there's a fight going on as MCL goes round the outside of the Mercedes and into the wall. He goes in the Alpine. That could be damage. It looked like quite a hefty impact. But he's staying out for now as they go down towards turn one. Is there damage to the Alpine? Somehow no visible damage. I do not know how. That was a huge hit onto the wall in the final corner there. Not a clue what happened. But they head down towards turn one, or turn three rather, and it's all fine for now. What else is going on? Muhiti leads the race again. But Aces is right behind him. I think this is the battle for the lead. I think. I'm not too certain. There goes RJ across the corner there. I think this is Aces and Muhiti. If it is, there should be, yeah, J-Man and Robsu just behind, and here comes Robsu to the outside, down towards turn 1, should be able to make that move before the corner, and does. Robsu back into P3, these two battling very, very well at the moment, and Scott not too far behind them, following them very well in the Haas as well. This could be a great result for the Haas team at the moment. Ace is in P2, Scott in P5, and it's still Muhiti who leads this race. So down through Sector 2 they go, but the championship leader, Palang, is out of this race. Very very impactful DNF, that one, as Muhiti still leads from aces. We've got Mr. J-Man and Robsu. Robsu back up to P3, Scott chasing them. P6 is Jonathan, who's already pitted. He's on the medium tyres, though, so he will have to pit again before the end as he goes over the curb there. We've got the Williams of... let's find out. The Williams of Lawrence in P7, and then MCL, who got past Sumo earlier. We watched that happen after Sumo came out the pits, but MCL's had to give up the place. I think that must have been an illegal overtake for the Alpine driver, so Sumo goes back ahead up to P8, and MCL has to follow in behind. We've also got the Red Bull of Tier just behind the both of them as they head through the middle sector. MCL looking for a way past this Mercedes. These two battling quite well. Sumo doing pretty well for now on his wheel, which is good to see as MCL looks to the outside. It's the inside, and Sumo has to concede that before they break for the corner. Very sensibly done from the British driver, because he's now going to have DRS down towards the final corner on the circuit. And is he going to make that move right back again on MCL? Looks to the outside, but lifts off. Doesn't want to make the move into the final corner, in fact, and is going to wait until turn 1. And he's got to watch behind him as well, because Tier right on his gearbox with the DRS. This could be a double loss of position for MCL, but it isn't, as he breaks late enough for turn 1, but gets squeezed out there by Sumo. I think maybe a lockup for the two of them perhaps there, and MCL loses position to Tier as a result. We've got RJ in the Mercedes P11, then Crozer down in P12. I don't know when he pitted. Alex down in 13th. He's had a disaster. Palang, Wongfi, JB, and Jacko out of this race. So we've got 4 DNFs from the Human Rights Grand Prix already. And still a long way to go. We are on lap number 11, I think, of 25. So just approaching the halfway mark as Tier looks for a move on Sumo through here, but surely can't make it into this corner, and definitely not. So it's going to have to wait for a better opportunity, and that's going to allow MCL to close back in with the DRS. Let's check back at the front, see what's happening. Aces is back into the lead at the front of the race into turn 1. These two swapping positions quite a few times so far this race. And Robsu is in P3, but it looks like Mr. J-Man has pitted. He's onto the medium tyres. What did he start on? I think he did start on the hards. No, he started on the softs. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. So he started on the softs, so that's where he's come in already for the medium tyres. He looks like he's going for the soft-medium strategy, which is... very, very risky around this track, because the softs barely last at all and the mediums really go when they start to go. Scott down there further back, I think he's already pitted as well. I think he started on the softs too. As they go through. Here's Jonathan in the AlphaTauri in the meantime, and here is, I keep forgetting who's in the Williams, it's Lawrence, that's it, in the Williams down there. That's a lovely helmet, Lawrence. That's a 9 out of 10 from me, that one. Maybe even a 9.5. So who hasn't pitted? With the top 4 still haven't pitted. Muhiti, Aces and Robsu all on the mediums. Scott on the hards. Sumo also hasn't pitted. He's still on the mediums down in P9. He's made a few mistakes already, but already showing so much improvement after the first 2 races that he's done in this championship. Yeah, that's the standings so far. Who's leading? Is that Muhiti that's come in? I think it might well have been from the lead of the race. Muhiti comes into the pits. Is he going to exit in front of his teammate? It's going to be quite close, actually. There goes Mr. J-Man in the background on the left-hand side of your screen. Muhiti coming through the pit exit now. It's very, very close, but Muhiti just about staying ahead, but a big, big undercut there from his teammate in the other Ferrari, and Mr. J-Man's going to be putting pressure on Muhiti through Sector 1 because the other Ferrari is going to be on cold, hard tyres. Why no leaderboard? Great question, Lawrence. I wish I knew the answer. I just lost my entire HUD when the race started, so I'm never ever doing a reset by getting everyone to retire again, because I think that's why this has happened. But I'm doing the best I can in the meantime. Muhiti just about in front of his teammate, but is he gonna... I wonder if the Ferraris are going to swap here, or if there's going to be team orders to keep Muhiti ahead here, because obviously he's fighting for the race win. Mr. J-Man fighting for a podium, though, so both of them have a reason not to hold the other one up. Aces leads this race, still doesn't come in for now, but Robsu does. The Finnish driver peels into the pits for, I'm assuming, a set of the hard tyres. Scott also stays out, so it's now a Haas 1-2 at about the halfway mark of this race. The two Ferraris still very close together. Muhiti coming down the start-finish straight now. Where is Robsu? He's just coming out the pits, and there go the two Ferraris. He's lost so much time on the undercut here. Mr. J-Man has made a huge gain in the pits, but he's got to take those mediums all the way to the end, which is going to be very, very difficult unless he's on a planned two-stop. I haven't seen a two-stop yet at this track on this game. I've no idea how effective it is. I don't think it will be very effective, but we'll find out as... It's good to see something different. Good to see someone trying a different strategy. He's about, well, let's count. 0, 1, 2, 3. About 3 seconds ahead of Robsu out of the pit lane. So just from a few laps of undercut, that's a massive gain. And he's going to have the DRS off his teammate, who's going to help drag him further away from Robsu as well. So this is great teamwork by the Ferrari drivers. What tyres is Robsu on? But Robsu's on the soft tyres here. So he must be going for the two-stop as well. Very bold strategies from both of them. Tier's just behind in the Red Bull in the meantime, who still hasn't... I think he has stopped, actually. He's one of the ones that stopped for damage early on. There is RJ in the Mercedes. And there's Lawrence on the hard tyres. Let's have a quick look at Race Director again. So Scott and Aces still not into the pits, but Aces finally comes in, and it's for a set of the softs. He's going for medium soft, maybe a two-stop from Aces as well, but a lot of drivers going for the soft medium. I wonder if they've seen the elite race results and neglected to realize that it was a 35% race. That is very possible. Wang Fei has left the session after he retired earlier on, but Scott now leads the Human Rights Grand Prix as Aces looks like he's come out very close to Robsu out the pit lane. He has indeed. They're going side by side through Sector 1, and Aces just about stays ahead of the Alfa Romeo, but he's going to be on cold tyres. The Finnish driver flying over the curb there, getting some air time on the exit, but he can't make the move into the banked corner. Takes a much better line than Aces, though, as Tier retires from the session. Oh no, Tier, what has happened there to the Red Bull driver? We've got yellow flags, but doesn't look like we've got a safety car. So we're still under green flag racing for this Grand Prix at the moment. What lap number are we on? I can't tell. We're on lap 15 by the looks of it, as here comes Robsu to the inside of Aces. That was a very risky move from the Finn, but he's going to have DRS again down towards the final corner. I think just trying to put Aces offline, and it may well have worked as they go down towards that final corner. Robsu looking to try and get the DRS down towards turn 1 as well, but I think Aces will be thinking the same. I'm pretty sure Robsu got it, and he's got a wonderful switchback there on the Haas driver. Fantastic move from Robsu on those soft tyres. They're both on the softs, in fact. DRS open as well for the Finnish driver, and he is up to P5, I believe, if Scott still hasn't pitted. P4, sorry. Now that is a net P3 as Scott still out on track on those hard tyres, going for a hard soft strategy, I think. But these guys are going to have to do 11, 12, 13 maybe laps on the soft tyres. I really can't see that working out for them. It's going to be extremely difficult for them to take those tyres that long. As the two Ferraris going through Sector 2 still locked together. Fantastic teamwork from these two. And if Mr. J-Man can stay out all the way to the end on those mediums, this could turn into a Ferrari 1-2, which would be an absolutely sensational result after the start they've had to this season. It's not been great. They're down in P5 in the constructors, and Muhiti P10, Mr. J-Man P12 in the drivers. It's been a poor first couple of races of the season, so a 1-2 here would be an immense result for them as they keep chasing down Scott in the meantime. I'll have to keep an eye on the gap by just counting like I did last time. Scott finally into the pits, though, on those hard tyres. He will come out well behind all of these guys. I wonder what tyres he's going to put on. Let's watch as he enters the pits, as there goes Muhiti back into the lead of the Human Rights Grand Prix with his teammate right behind, and Robsu and Aces chasing them down at the moment. Scott out onto the soft tyres. He certainly has gone for the hard soft. A lot of drivers going for the soft tyres in this race. Surprisingly, I didn't think anyone would use them, but here we are. Pretty much half the grid using them by the looks of it, as that looks like Jonathan, I think, getting past the Williams of Lawrence, so good battle between those two at the moment. We've also got the Mercedes of Sumo still following on, and MCL just behind him. I think MCL does have damage from that contact with the wall earlier. He's pitted for the mediums. Sorry, that's RJ in the Mercedes. No, Sumo's down in P11. He's pitted for the hard tyres. Jonathan's already done a two-stop, so he's on to the mediums, I assume, to the end, but he's in P6 right now. Great result for him if he can keep it going. We've got 5 drivers out of this race. Alex racing down in P12 after a fantastic quali. No idea what happened to him. We'll have to find out in the chat afterwards, but it is a Ferrari 1-2 as it stands. But let's try and count the gap, shall we? So when we get to the line, I'll start counting. So we've got 0, 1, 2, about 2 and a bit seconds between them. I reckon 2.3, 2.4 seconds. So Robsu has caught the two Ferraris by about 6/10 since we last checked the gap. But he's got Aces behind him as well, trying to sort of tow himself up to the top 2 as well. You're going to have a fantastic battle at the end of this race, but those softs are going to degrade very fast. And I think before they've even caught up to those top 2, I think they're going to be struggling. But then again, Mr. J-Man is going to be struggling as well in the late stages on those very old medium tyres, which he pitted for quite a few laps ago. What lap are we on now? Just look at the steering wheel. We're on lap 18 of 25. So 7.5 laps left to go in this race. And the two Ferraris looking very, very strong at this point. But Robsu and Aces still hunting them down. I'm going to try and count out the gap again as they go across the line here. Who's in P5? It is the Haas of Scott, still racing very strong, and Jonathan still in P6, just with Jonathan with Lawrence just behind him, and then MCL fighting with RJ just behind for P8, I believe. We'll cut back to the front because I want to count this gap. So Mr. J-Man, oh, is this Muhiti? I think they swapped places actually. Yeah, they did. Muhiti's got the yellow helmet. Okay, we've got 0, 1, 2. It's about 2 seconds now, and it's less than that because Aces gets past the Alfa Romeo of Robsu up to P3, and it's just about 1.9 seconds, I would say, the gap, and it's coming down very quickly. But those softs aren't going to last forever on these two cars, and Robsu's ones are 1 lap older as well than Aces. So we could see the Finnish driver drop off first, but Are they going to drop off at all? They're not looking like it at the moment. We're on lap 19 of 25. 6.5 laps left to go in this race. Can Aces catch up to those top two? ERS looking pretty strong on both Ferraris, both above 50%. Aces just about 50%, and Robsu is already struggling, I think, on those soft tyres to keep on board. He's got 50% as well, but ERS very easy to save around here as he hits both walls through there. And that's the other thing with no HUD. I've no idea what penalties everyone's got, so I'm just guessing. But I would have imagined that was a warning at least to Robsu through there. Ace is still trying to catch those two Ferraris. We've got Muhiti in P2 right now. Mr. J-Man leading this race on those very old medium tyres. But here comes Muhiti down the inside of his teammate, and it's going to cost them both time with that move as well. Robsu just following along from Aces still in the meantime. I don't think Aces has DRS here. No, he doesn't quite as they go down towards turn 1, but it's very close. Mr. J-Man looks to the inside of his teammate, but thinks better of sending it into turn 1. I'm sure the two of them are in a party trying desperately to get this 1-2 in the bag. Again, I don't know who has track limits penalties. They may well both have one and Aces doesn't, and that would just make it completely void. But I'm just going to base it on none of them have penalties, and we'll find out at the end. But those two Ferraris still close together, but Mr. J-Man with a big mistake on the exit of the final corner of Sector 1, and that is going to invite Aces versus Kings into DRS range, and we're going to have a titanic battle here in the last few laps of this Human Rights Grand Prix. Let's have a quick look at the general standings. So it's still the two Ferraris, then Aces and Robsu. Scott still P5, Lawrence up to P6 from Jonathan, those two still battling. MCL still ahead of RJ in P8, Crozer down in P10, and then Sumo and Alex P11 and 12, and everyone else is out. So not been too many changes further down the grid, but I think they're still fighting Lawrence and Jonathan in the meantime, the two no-line drivers, so they're both doing a great job at this circuit. As Aces makes a mistake in the middle sector, this could invite Robsu, but he's got the DRS from the Ferraris. Is he still going to have it into turn 1 though? That's the question. As they go round, I think those softs already starting to fall away from these two. Aces doesn't have the DRS, he lost it down towards turn 1, and Robsu streaks past the Haas up to P3 again, and now it's his turn to try and chase down the two Ferraris, with Mr. J-Man still struggling on those medium tyres. I think Muhiti's running out of ERS as well, which is not ideal at all in these last closing stages. This is just when you need as much ERS as you can have to defend from the chasing cars behind. But the two Ferraris running low. Ace is not too great either, about 35% on him, 45% or so, maybe 40% on Robsu. But Mr. J-Man on 50%, Muhiti on about 25%. So he's struggling for ERS. We're on lap 21. Just 3.5 laps left to go in this race. It's going to be a thrilling ending. This is much better, actually, when I don't know who has penalties. I just have to assume that they're racing for the win. Based on my knowledge of Tier 2, I would guess at least one or two of these four does have a penalty of some kind. But I don't know who and for how much. Aces has lost the back of Robsu in the meantime. He's really struggling in these late stages. Even though Robsu's tyres are 1 lap older than his, Ace is struggling for pace in these last couple of laps. But if these three start battling, Ace is going to be right back in this, as Robsu now in the DRS of the two Ferraris. RJ's retired from the session right at the end. That's so unfortunate for him. We're on lap 22, so he won't get classified either. He was P9. Oh, that's such a shame. He was battling with MCL for so long. I wonder if there was contact between the two or if he just lost it himself. I have no idea, but that's a real shame for him. As we go through Sector 1, Robsu right behind these Ferraris, nearly getting on the train track curb there. Ace is so far behind them now. He's got nothing left in that Haas at all. He's trying his best, but these three too fast at this late stage. But look at that, we can see the flashing red light on the back of Muhiti's car. There's RJ's car on the exit of that banked left-hander, so he's just gone into the wall there. I'm not sure how that's happened. It looks like there was possibly contact between him and MCL, but down they go through the middle sector and down towards the final sector of lap 22 of 25. Look at how close Robsu is to the back of this Ferrari. Mr. J-Man's trying with everything he's got to defend. Robsu loves this track, he has done in the past, but looks to the inside, surely not 3 wide, into the final corner it is, but Robsu backs out just before there's contact and gets a bit squirrely on the exit as well. This could invite aces back into the battle. There's just 3 laps to go in this Grand Prix, and it's a fight for the lead of this race between the 2 Ferraris and Robsu. Robsu doesn't know where to go as the Ferraris crowd him out here down towards turn 1, tries to get the switch back on the other Ferrari and gets it done on Mr. J-Man. Fantastic move from Robsu. It was nearly a disaster as J-Man got oversteer there, but Robsu up to P2 and now chasing after Muhiti, who's got no ERS left. He's saved up a little bit, but he's still much depleted compared to Robsu, who nearly gets on the train track curb again there. J-Man does get the train track curb, and he's all the way down to P4 again now. Those mediums are definitely gone for him. He pitted a bit too early, I think. It was a great effort from the Ferraris, strategic effort to help themselves to stay ahead of the others. But it's not worked, and J-Man has just run out of steam here in these closing laps. Scott's not too far behind, so he's got to be careful he doesn't lose P4 as well here, as Muhiti leads this race. Robsu just behind him. He's got the DRS for now, but for how long? Is he going to have it down towards the final corner as well, as he has to correct there to not go into the wall? Aces is back in the battle too. These 3 all battling for this race win with 2 laps to go at the end of this one. It's going to be a straight fight all the way to the checkered flag. Mr. J-Man's not too far behind. If anything goes wrong, he will pounce, but I think his tyres are well and truly gone now. But Robsu can see that flashing red light. He knows Muhiti's going to be vulnerable on the straights, but he's going to be struggling in the corners because Muhiti's still on not too bad hard tyres, as Robsu's softs are going to be really down in the dumps at this point. Lap 24 of 25, just 2 to go in the Human Rights Grand Prix. As we head through Sector 1, yeah, J-Man's really lost out to those top 3 now, and Scott is approaching him, but I don't think he's going to be quick enough, as the Ferrari, the Alfa Romeo and the Haas all battle for this race win in these closing stages. Muhiti leads the race. He started from pole position. He had a terrible start in the first lobby that we had, but after the lobby reset, he got a much better start and kept the lead. And then he was battling with aces for the whole first stint, but undercut the Haas and got well ahead of him after the pit stops. But as they go through, it's still Muhiti who leads. Robsu just trying to stay within DRS at the moment. He can't do it. It's got to be so difficult on those softs to navigate the corners without binning it now. Anyone will get classified if they bin it now, but these 3 all want the race win. Here comes Aces on the Alfa Romeo down towards the final corner. He's using the overtake to try and get him, but he can't quite do anything at this late stage. We're going on to the final lap of the Human Rights Grand Prix. Can Robsu do anything to take this race win off Muhiti? He's using the ERS. Here they go down towards turn 1. Aces is there as well to try and make it 3 wide into the first corner, and he does. He sends it to the inside, just about avoids contact, but Muhiti is crowded out as they head through turns 1 and 2. Muhiti down to P3, and it's Robsu who leads on the final lap. Aces right behind him, but with no ERS left. He's got to charge some back up. He's going to have the DRS in the final couple of straights, but he's got to stay with the Alfa Romeo in this final lap as well. Muhiti's not out of it yet either, but using all his ERS to just manage the gap has really backfired on the Turkish driver who started from pole. What a race this has been from Robsu. If he can secure this race win, I've no idea which of them have penalties, if any, and for how much they are, but Robsu leading this race fantastically in these late stages. Can he see off Aces and Muhiti in the final couple straights? Mr. J-Man's not too far behind as well. He's still there if anything goes wrong in these final few corners. We head into the final sector of the Human Rights Grand Prix. Can Aces do anything here? He's got a little bit of ERS left. Robsu's got some left to defend with as well, but he's run out down towards the final corner, but so has Aces. He's too far behind. He can't send it surely from here. He breaks very late in a half-hearted attempt, but he can't do it. And down towards the line, it's going to be a drag race to the checkered flag. I think Robsu's got it. He does. Robsu wins spectacularly the Human Rights Grand Prix. Aces finishes P2 on track with Muhiti. He's going to be devastated to finish P3 after losing the lead on the final lap. Mr. J-Man finishes P4 on those terrible medium tyres. Scott finishes a brilliant P5 in the other Haas. The Williams of Lawrence is going to finish P6 and MCL will be P7. Jonathan must have binned it somewhere because he's down in P8 now. In the AlphaTauri, we've still got a battle between Crozer and Sumo going on for P9 in the meantime. Who's going to come out in front of this one? Sumo is the lead car, but Crozer's going to have the DRS all the way down. Look at this. He looks to the outside, down towards the last corner of Sector 2. Sumo's had to go wide, and that should be him out of this battle now. He's going to have to settle for P10, but I think he'll be happy to be on the lead lap, to be honest, after the first couple of races he's had this season. Alex way behind in the other Aston Martin. But he's going to finish in P11, I think. But what a race at the front there. Sumo does finish. Jonathan locks the rears on entry to the final corner and sits there in disbelief at what he's just done, I think. Is that what's happened? Why has Alex stopped as well? I've no idea what's going on now. Everyone's in the wall. Lobby is having a nightmare. Okay. But, well, the lobby is well and truly glitched. I've no idea what's going on. Least broken F1 23 lobby. Honestly, least broken F1 lobby of the last 12 years. Yeah, no, I figured that much, Jonathan. I mean, I had no HUD for the whole race for a start. But Sumo on the lead lap, he is well chuffed with that, and so he should be in Jeddah. I'm going to ask if anyone has the final results, because I have no idea. Oh, Sumo, you've got the results. Thank you, mate. Yeah, I'll go to your stream. Live streams on social media. Let's see. Oh, gosh. I do apologize for all of that. I did the very best I could. I hope you still enjoyed. I really did the best I could there. So thank you very much for watching, regardless. Yeah, thank you, Sumo. I've got those now. I'm going to check if my app has recorded them. We'll be back for interviews in just a second. I just want to see if my telemetry app has recorded the race results. I'll be right back.
most successful engine manufacturers in F1 include Ferrari, Mercedes, and Renault. For fans new to the sport, might be surprised to learn Ford Coppola are among the most successful suppliers. Let's talk chassis numbers. You won't find more consistency than the Red Bull. Beginning their legacy in 2005 with the RB1, they have stuck to this naming convention ever since, with the only anomaly being 2021's RB16B, rather than moving on to the RB17. This was due to technical regulations continuing into 2021, with cars and vehicles remaining largely unchanged and waiting the 2022 regulations. Welcome to Saudi Arabia, the largest.
Alright, I'm back. So I'm going to get the podium finishers into the interview room in just a second. So that's Robsu, Aces, and Muhiti.
While Max Verstappen and Mick Schumacher both have fathers who competed in F1, this father-son legacy is undefeated. Former father and son F1 alumni, KK and Nico Rosberg, and Graham and Damon Hill, all world champions. A little bit of F1 history for you now. During the 1950s, F1 drivers would contest the championship over less than 11 races. However, there were many races held during each year where drivers could enter that would not count towards the championship. Something unheard of in modern.
Alright, well, I'm going to quit this session.
Lewis Hamilton holds the record for most consecutive races.
Oh, never mind, I'm not going to quit the session. Okay, it's just not even going to let me quit. Wow. Thanks, F1. Okay, well, lesson learned. Lesson learned to never, ever, ever do a lobby reset by getting everyone to retire ever again. Just reset the whole lobby next time. Goodness me, what an absolute mess. It's Rob Sue's in. We're just waiting for Aces and Muhiti, who's now in. Let's see if we can get Aces in. Send him an invitation.
While F1 games are now officially licensed and released annually, this wasn't always the case, with virtually all games being released before the turn of the century being unlicensed. Both EA and Codemasters have a long history with the F1 franchise, with EA releasing F1 2000.
But, well, we'll wait for Aces, but in the meantime, Robsu, well, it was a bit of a mess of a lobby in the end. I'm going to have to apologize to everyone for that. But regardless, you came through and probably you're the best drive I've seen from you for several seasons, maybe the best drive I've seen from you since you've been here in APPF1. How was it from your point of view?
Well, I'd say too it was my best race, but well, first of all, this was not what I expected because I'm not sure where is the pace, but well, I don't even know what to say. I just stick to my strategy and try to keep it between the lines and try not to make any mistakes, and that's it. And now just yeah, I'm kind of very surprised actually.
Well, I mean, you had a fantastic performance there, carved your way through at the start, and then towards the end held on and made that overtake on the last lap. What was going through your mind on that last lap? Were you feeling like you were going to get overtaken at any point, or did you feel comfortable?
Mm, well, mostly I felt that I was gonna get overtaken before the main straight or at the back straight, but yeah, just try to be fast as I can on the last lap, but hopefully no one came past. So yeah.
Well, nonetheless, I mean, your first win for a while, and it's very, very well deserved. What a drive from you, Robsu, and hopefully we'll see you on the top step more times this season.
I I hope so too.
Oh, well done, mate.
Thanks.
So we'll head over to Aces now in P2. It's been a while since I've got to talk to you, mate. Congrats on the podium. What a race from your perspective.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad, to be fair, mate. For once, I actually felt comfortable in the car. As you probably know, recently I haven't really been one with the car, but today it just felt good. Qualifying was alright, missed out on a bit of a black flag there for a second.
Yeah.
There was a slip car on the final section, that fast right-hander that was pretty severe, and it just meant that's where I lost a bit of time,
Ah.
so I did a bit of pole. But apart from that, race pace was alright, made one mistake, going into turn one on like lap 22.
Yeah.
So I had to burn my ERS. I had about 70% ERS. So burning that back up to release. Yeah, man, it was a good race. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, well, I mean, congrats on P2. By the way, you should. Do you have? Oh, I can't remember where the setting is on PS4, but in your audio settings, there should be a thing to say broadcast audio always allow. If you could put that on so the stream can hear you.
In the 1990s, Ferrari used everything from the 614 to the F92A to the 412 T1. By the 2000s, order seemed to be restored, and the F1 2000, but the simple naming convention wouldn't continue for long.
Yeah.
By 2006, we saw
Uh, it,
448, and in 2009,
including broadcast, maybe. I think there's one which you can set to always allow. I can't remember where it is on PS4 now.
F2012, the F15T in 2014, and the SF90 in 2019. If you're looking for consistent naming, you won't find that around here.
Perfect. Okay, well, that first stint, your battle with Muhiti the whole way through, were there any dicey moments there? I couldn't quite keep track of the whole thing, but it looked pretty clean and pretty hard fought from my POV.
No, it was, to be fair, I was sort of slowly trying to balance the race, keep my ERS relatively high. I went for a few overtakes, thought, should I pull away? Tried to for a lap or two, but people don't have the skills that sat behind me. And then we pitted, and I weren't expecting them to pit, so then that gives them a
Yeah. I thought that early pit stop from Muhiti, he must have been thinking about the undercut there, and he did get a lot on you. Did you think it was game over when you came out so far behind him, or did you think you had a shot at getting back and trying to win the race?
Oh yeah, definitely. Obviously, I stayed out 2 or 3 laps longer, but I knew I had to stop tight because I knew in second or third it was too much money going in for the cars which were really behind.
Yes.
So I knew I had some sort of maybe a couple of tenths behind that behind them, but not knowing Rosso coming in as that lap six and not next to me, it got a bit dicey there. To be fair, moving going through sector one side by side. But yeah, I just thought not panic, just take everything one step at a time, and eventually it lit 'em up.
Yeah, well, there's a fantastic battle between the three and, in fact, the four of you, with Mr. J-Man dropping out at the end. There. So thanks for putting on a great show, Aces, and congrats on the P2.
Yeah, appreciate it, mate. I'll definitely be watching the stream back.
It's I tried my best. Because the lobby was so glitched, I had no HUD. I had nothing, like no on-screen display at all. I could only see cars and the track. I had nothing else. So I.
There was a car that kept in turn two that was
Yeah,
very low.
yeah, I saw that too. The lobby was definitely glitched. One thing I said, we will never ever reset a lobby by getting everyone to retire ever again. We'll just reset the whole thing because I think that's what caused this.
When you said that, I thought it's fine. When he said it,
Yeah, yeah.
you know,
Lesson learned.
hopefully I'm doing the right thing when this all cancels. Hopefully you'll see that.
Oh, very exciting. Well, I hope so too. And congrats again.
No, appreciate it, mate.
And finally, we come to Muhiti. I mean, it's a brilliant P3 for you, but you must be absolutely gutted to lose the win on the last lap.
Yeah, I think it was my own fault. Like we used a little bit too much ERS with Mr. J-Man. I don't know, like when we came out of the pits, I think I pit one lap too late because Mr. J-Man was 7 seconds behind me before I pit, and then I pit and he was half a second behind me. So we lost a lot of time with A6 on the last lap that I did on the medium stint. I think if I pitted one lap earlier, I could have maybe have a little larger gap, and then I could have maybe stayed P1. But yeah, then we tried some like ERS tactics with Mr. J-Man. I let him through. He used all his ERS because we saw the guys coming on the soft, and we were hoping like they would not keep that pace up like till the end, but somehow they did. And then yeah, once they passed me, I knew I had no more ERS. I knew if they don't make a mistake, I won't be able to get them back. But it was very nice, intense.
Yeah, intense, definitely the right word. And you put up one hell of a fight there after getting a brilliant pole position as well. But I just had Sumo say in the chat, Muhiti back on the podium where he belongs. And, well, I couldn't agree more. First podium for quite a while.
Yeah, I don't know. It's the street tracks. I had my
Yeah.
first win here. Singapore is always strong, for some reason. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. But you must be looking for that elusive race win. Your last one was back in season 5.
Yeah.
So do you think you can get one before this season?
Yeah, I hope so. If I practice and if I can drive the tracks that I like, because I saw the calendar is pretty nice. But yeah, with work I miss sometimes a race. But yeah, Spa is always strong. So let's see, maybe there.
Oh, very good to hear. Well, we'll, I'm sure, see you back on the podium again at some point this season, Muhiti. And congrats on the P3 for today. That's a great drive.
Yep.
Well, that'll do for interviews and for this stream today. I'm really sorry about all the issues we faced today with the lobby and with the no HUD during the commentary. I did my very best, but hopefully you still enjoyed. My driver of the day today, I think, has got to go to Robsu. What a performance that was from the Finnish driver. But regardless of all that, thank you all very much for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your night, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.